It's over 9,000!
And we're back. Welcome to Final Forum, a podcast for the discussion of all things Dragon Ball. I am your host, Jelli, and this is our Tenkaichi tournament. I am joined, as always, by my co-host.
This is the Bekinney.
And we're just continuing where we left off. We are on to round 2 and beyond of our Tenkaichi tournament. This year is Halo. And if you are somehow listening to episode 2 before listening to episode 1, I really would just recommend you go back and listen to episode 1.
There's some good stuff there, folks. It's worth a listen.
But yes, this is Halo, and just a quick reminder, it's who you think would win, who you think would win, who you would like to win, and then a tiebreaker of essentially having the money to build a good video game system at home and the know-how to do it. And our matchups, I'll recap all of them. That's what I did last year, is just recap all of them as I go through. Is we have 16 Tarble versus 8 Kale. We have 12 Kid Trunks versus 13 Goten. We have 6 Cabba versus 4 Gohan. 7 Caulifla versus 15 Paragus. That's the Saiyan bracket. We have 1 Krillin versus 8 Bulma. 5 Android 17 versus 4 Android 18. 6 Yamcha versus 3 Tien. 10 Videl versus 2 Master Roshi. 1 Frieza versus 8 Hit. 12 King Cold versus 13 Pilaf. 6 Captain Ginyu versus 14 Android 19. 10 Dr. Gero versus 2 Cell. 1 Beerus versus 8 Corrin. 12 Elder Kai versus 4 King Kai. 6 Dende versus 14 Puar. 7 Kami versus 15 Jocko. And yes, you're not, deaf. You did not hear names such as Piccolo, Goku, Vegeta. Were there any other heavy hitters in terms of characters who got eliminated in the first round? Those are the 3 big uns.
Yeah. Jiren got taken out in the first round.
Yeah, Jiren. And Mr. Satan, we like Mr. Satan around here, but he did not make it through. So you pick this one first because that's how we did it.
Okay, we start with the Saiyan bracket again?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, we got number 16 Tarble versus number 8 Kale to start. This one was a toss-up. I think it's still kind of a toss-up. I'm still not 100% that I'm going to give it to who I have written down right now. We're going to just try and piece it out. Yeah, so who do I want to win? These are both characters that I'm not super familiar with. They're not around a super long time. Just based on personality, I think I'd want Tarble to win. As for who would actually win, I think the slight edge is going to go to Tarble again. Like we said last time, he's got some familiarity with technology. He's married to a member of another species, so it's pretty clear that he's been out and about and seeing other things in the universe. So I think he has a bit of an advantage here, and I think I'm going to put him on to the next round.
Okay. Good with that. Then we have 12 Kid Trunks versus 13 Goten. I kind of would like Goten to win. I just, he's like a cuter kid, I guess, and he's just a little more bubbly, a little more fun. I think of the two characters, too, Goten probably has the only scene that I can think of that is actually like a really cool, awesome moment, and it's when he first meets Goku. I think that's a very touching moment in Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. But, then you get to who do I think would win? Kid Trunks. He likely has video games at home and is playing video games at home all the time and is more well-practiced and cares more, and he's not going to have to go sneaking around to play video games. Like Chi-Chi's not going to let Goten fire up Xbox at home.
And let's be real. There's a rivalry between these two, and Kid Trunks is all about not letting Goten win.
Right. So then we get to our tiebreaker where Kid Trunks smokes Goten.
Yeah.
Means and know-how. He is a more worldly, intelligent character, and he's this child of a billionaire. So yeah, Kid Trunks.
There's no way he doesn't know how to video game.
Right.
Next round we've got number 6 Cabba versus number 4 Gohan. As far as who I want to win, I think I'm going to give it to Gohan, just because Cabba's not around for very long. I don't really have a good grasp of his personality.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like after getting further than Vegeta in this tournament, I feel like Cabba might lose a little bit of motivation. So I'll give it to Gohan for who I think would actually win. Because of that, I think maybe he would try just a little bit harder.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna move Gohan on to the next round.
Okay. So then I've got 7 Caulifla versus 15 Paragus, and this is tough because I had Vegeta winning this round also. I'll say
that's right. I had Raditz winning the previous round, so mine is also thrown off.
Because I had Vegeta also beating Caulifla just because I want him to win, and I wanted him to win, and then B, I knew if I took it to the tiebreakers, he would win on the tiebreaker, right? Because he has way more means. So Paragus versus Caulifla. Who do I want to win? I guess at this point, for the lulz, I guess Paragus. I don't really have any other reason.
That's valid.
Maybe also because Paragus. Here's the thing: Caulifla is only really memorable for becoming Kefla in the Tournament of Power when she fuses with Kale and getting a Kamehameha to the face.
So her most famous moment is just taking a giant L.
And Paragus's most famous moment is also taking a giant L, but it's way more hilarious. And that would be when Frieza kills him and goes, "Look what Goku did!" That moment is amazing. So I'll give it to I want Paragus, and then I'll use your rationale for giving Paragus the edge last time of he is a tech savvy person, so I think he would pick up the notion of video games faster than Caulifla.
I would agree.
And I'll give Paragus the edge and move Paragus on to round 3. Which then means keeping in what we've been doing with if you pick a bracket first, then I pick the next one first. I get number 1 Krillin versus number 8 Bulma. Who do I want to win? Krillin's my favorite character in Dragon Ball, other than Vegeta and Goku. So that tells you who I want to win. But who do I think would win in this matchup? Bulma. Like we said, Bulma.
I think she smokes him pretty hard.
Bulma knows video games because her son does, and she's like keyed into what her kids like. She's way more tech savvy. I think Krillin has some of that, but not compared to Bulma. And then we take it to our tiebreaker. She smokes him on means, although I think Krillin would have some of the means to.
Yeah, I don't think it's the means so much as it is the know-how.
It's the know-how. Yeah, so I move Bulma on to the next round.
All right.
When you get a matchup that I do not envy you having to try and figure out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out which, because, like, let's be honest. Last episode, I had Satan over 18, and I had him going almost all the way. So, yeah, I'm in a tough spot here. I got number 5, Android 17 versus number 4, Android 18. I think in terms of who do I want to win, they're about even. I can't really pick one or the other as far as a favorite goes. As for who would actually win, again, that's too close for me, I think, to call. Because they kind of have this sibling rivalry thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I feel like they would both put in a lot of effort into this matchup. So I think it's going to come down to the tiebreaker. But even then, that's really close. I think 18 in a very, very close squeaker in this case. Just because 17 ends up running off basically into the wilderness to be a forest ranger essentially. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that doesn't afford him a lot of opportunity to play video games, at least not as much as 18. So I'm going to give it to her based purely on just a slight edge in know-how.
That was what I was thinking.
All right.
So then I get a slam dunk. I'll be frank with you on my next one.
Yeah.
I have 6 Yamcha versus 3 Tien. I want Yamcha to win. I like him quite a bit more than Tien. The joke, it's the thing I love the most about the joke of Yamcha is it's one of those jokes where to me it actually did get old, but then they kept doing it so much that it's great again now. Yeah. Like I love that he hasn't even trained for fighting in like decades anymore and doesn't care about fighting anymore, but still is convinced that people are going to ask him to join their fighting teams. Like and then who do I think would win? Yamcha, absolutely. And you could also take that to the tiebreaker and he would thwomp Tien. So Yamcha goes on to the next round.
I also think it would be really funny for Yamcha to get really far in this tournament just because, of course, he's going to succeed when the stakes are 0. When it's like actually important, he's the first guy down every time. But when the stakes are 0, of course Yamcha's going to win. That brings us to our last matchup for this bracket, for this round, which is number 10 Videl versus number 2 Master Roshi. Oh, who do I want to win? I want Roshi to win. I just, like you, I think this character has gotten better with time and to the point now where he's one of my favorite characters. For who would actually win, I think Videl might actually win here. Based on the fact that she's not as much of a recluse as Roshi is. Mm-hmm. She's got a small child of her own. She's probably familiar with what video games are. And then on top of that, she could probably use her feminine wiles to distract Roshi.
Make herself like a female character too in the game.
Yeah, exactly. So it comes down to the tiebreaker, and I think Videl wins pretty handily over Roshi as far as the tiebreaker is concerned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm giving it to Videl.
Okay. And then you get to pick first in the antagonist bracket.
Yes, the antagonist bracket. So let's see. First matchup is number 1 Frieza versus number 8 Hit. This is not an easy one.
Mm-mm.
Who do I want to win? I want Frieza to win, obviously. Fantastic character. Never get tired of him. Who do I think would win? I had reaction time for Hit to beat Raccoon, but I feel like the power gap here is much smaller, and so I feel like that is no longer as big of an advantage. So I think, given that, like you said, Frieza's kind of grown as a character as the series has gone on, and is willing to actually put effort into bettering himself, I think Frieza would also be the person to win this as well.
Okay.
So we don't even need to go to the tiebreaker for that one.
So then I get number 12 King Cold versus number 13 Pilaf. Who do I want to win? Pilaf. I love this character that, I think he's used exactly the right amount, especially as we've gotten later into the series, to just occasionally have this guy pop up and like accidentally cause havoc, but not in the way that he intends at all. Like he's got these delusions of grandeur and like ruling the world, and he ends up doing things like, I don't know, making it so that one of the Dragon Balls is hard to find because he accidentally stashed it someplace. Like things like that. Like
I also like the timing that they use for using him as well. So like it ends up like to kick off an arc after a very serious clash, and so you've got all this tension build up, and then it's okay. What's Toriyama going to hit us with next? And then it's that sucker punch of, oh, let's go back and see what Pilaf is doing.
Yeah.
It's chef's kiss. It's so good.
And then who do I think would win? Give me Pilaf again. We've seen the guy play electronic games of some kind, at least, and he also
might be the only character I think that we've seen play electronic games.
And he also, just has that knack for it. So give me Pilaf. So Pilaf on to the next round.
Good. This is exactly what I wanted. Next matchup, we've got is it number 6 Captain Ginyu?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Versus number 14 Android 19. Yeah. So I kept flip-flopping between Boo and 19. So again, this is one of those ones where I don't really have I don't have the bracket completely finished yet. But as far as this one goes, who do I want to win? I want Ginyu to win because he's just a more fun character all around. 19's pretty much devoid of any kind of personality. So definitely Ginyu's the winner there. But as far as like who would actually win, again, it's a computer in a video game. Like it's going to be hard for Ginyu to top that. And then we go to tiebreaker between means and know-how. I think they both have the means, but I think 19's got the edge in know-how. So I think I'm going to have to give it to 19.
Okay, that's fair. I had Ginyu, but I was like not sold on having him. So then I get 10 Jiro versus 2 Cell. Who do I want to win? Absolutely Cell. I echo your sentiment that Cell may well be the best villain in the Z portion of the show. Who do I think would win? Cell, again. He chases perfection, right? That's his whole thing, is that he goes for he is perfect. And so I just think he has like the edge on kind of every aspect of it, and he, I could see the one possible downfall of Cell being like, remember when he throws out the challenge for the Cell games and then he just stands there and doesn't actually train while everyone else is like training to gear up with him
because he thinks he's already perfect.
Right. But I just think, again, he's also an android, right? So he's also a computer in a computer game.
That's true. That is true.
So I give him the edge over Jiro, and I move Cell on to the next round, which then brings me to the beginning of the deities bracket, where we've got Beerus versus Corrin. And this is another one where I think I want Beerus to win. I think he's a better character. He's been around longer. I think it'd be like you said, I think it'd be funnier to have like Beerus keep winning at like a video game and be like, I guess I won't destroy the universe because I keep winning, you know, like
I think that's his bid to keep winning, is he just keeps threatening to destroy the universe, and then his challengers just gives up.
And then I also think that's part of the reason why he would win. But I also think his personality is that type, right, too, that like once he discovered what video games were, he would become borderline addicted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I totally see that.
And so I move Beerus on to the next round.
Also, just fun little side note, cat versus cat here, which I thought was fun.
Oh, yeah.
That brings us to number 12, Elder Kai versus number 4, King Kai. They're about the same for me as far as who do I want to win. I think either one would be a very fun option. As for who I think would actually win, I think Elder Kai comes out just ahead as far as who would actually win. He's got a little bit more free time. He's not. I feel like he's a little bit more interest. Like if you introduced video games to him, I feel like he would take more of an interest in it than King Kai would.
I agree.
And then when we go to the tiebreaker, again, I think Elder Kai ekes it out just on that sort of willingness to want to learn more and to enjoy them.
Okay. So then I get
plus King Kai's got the Yama problem of technically living in the afterlife, so it might be hard to get him video games.
So then I've got number 6, Dende versus 14, Puar. Who do I want to win? Puar. Like we said, he is a likable little scamp. Scamp maybe not the right word, but you know, he's a likable little fuzzball. Who do I think would win? I also say Puar.
As you should.
He, you know, the ability to change shape and everything, but I also just think Dende is like he might have picked up enough of video gaming to be able to beat Kibito by being around Earthlings, but it's not his like concern.
Yeah. Plus, Dende kind of strikes me as the sort of guy who would enjoy it, but maybe not put a ton of effort into it.
Yeah.
Like he would lose and be like, oh well, that was fun.
Yes.
Time to go back to the tower.
Exactly.
That leaves us with the last matchup. Number 7, Kami versus number 15, Jocko. Yeah, I think I want Jocko to win this. I think Jocko would actually win this. And then again, if it came down to the tiebreaker, Jocko, again, wins pretty handily.
Okay.
That was probably the easiest one out of that whole bracket.
And then you started this episode on the Saiyan bracket, so I guess I'll do this Saiyan bracket
that
first,
makes
right?
Sense.
So we're on to 16 Tarble versus 12 Kid Trunks. Now, quite the Cinderella story. don't know if in the NCAA basketball tournament, the March Madness tournament, if a 16 seed has ever won a single round, let alone 2 rounds.
That's true. But this ain't basketball.
And here's the thing, Tarble, is... Okay, let's even say that I want to give you the edge because, you know, it'd be funny for you to put that little punk Kid Trunks in his place. When it comes down to who would win, it's Kid Trunks.
And I mean, you got to look at real life experience with that one. How many uncles beat their nephews at video games?
Literally none. In fact, one of the greatest Christmas memories of my entire life is my sister beating the absolute living crap out of my uncle in Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. You ever play that game?
Oh, yes, that's a good one.
That's one of those really good 2-player games like a Dr. Mario, right? Where
Or Tetris, yeah.
when the other person does something good, it drops bad things on your side, except it has the characters every time you do something good and it's about to drop blocks on the other person's side, it goes, yippee, yippee. And I just remember it was Christmas and hearing yippee, yippee, yippee. And then my little brother was like making a lot of noise in the background and my uncle just slams his controller to the ground. He goes, shut the hell up back there. But so then also you take it to the tiebreaker. Kid Trunks has the means, has the know-how. Kid Trunks moves on to the finals of the Saiyan bracket.
Yeah, I don't see how that goes any other way, in all honesty. So our other half of this is number 4, Gohan versus number 15, Paragus. This is interesting to me because as far as like means and know-how, I feel like they're pretty much the same. So I don't know if the tiebreaker is going to do it this time. But I don't think I'm going to need it because I want Gohan to win, and then I think he's going to be a little bit more practiced than Paragus, so I think he would actually win.
Yep. All right, so we're not going to pick it right now. We'll come back to it, but our final for the Saiyan bracket is Kid Trunks versus Gohan.
That's a good matchup, I think.
So then you're picking...
Yes, between number 8, Bulma, and number 4, Android 18. So here's the thing. Last year when we did this with basketball, I took 18 out in the first round. Rationale here was that Satan would pay her off. This time around, I think Bulma tries it, but I don't think it works.
Okay.
But it's okay because I think Bulma's probably going to take this one. I kind of want Bulma to win this one just because I think it would be hilarious to have her win the whole thing. And on as far as like who would actually win, I feel like Bulma would at least be a little bit more practiced than 18. And at this point, she's 18 has beaten 17, and I can't really see anybody left that she would be interested in beating and having bragging rights over, except maybe Gohan. But even that's kind of a stretch.
Yeah.
So I think I want Bulma to win this one, and I think Bulma would win this one. And even if we had to go to the tiebreaker, I think she smokes 18 there anyways.
Yep. Okay, so then I get 6 Yamcha versus 10 Videl. This is kind of an easy one, I think, for me at least. I want Yamcha. I think he's a funnier character and a better character. He's been around longer. And then I also think he would. Again, we've kind of established he is more worldly. He's hanging around in his locker room all the time. He's a baseball star. Those guys are also probably playing video games. I mean, we know that from pro sports that a bunch of the guys play video games. So he's probably picked up on it at least just as much as Videl. And so I think I just give him the edge. Plus, then I also think if you broke it down to means and know-how, I don't know if there's a big difference. So I give him the edge in who would actually win. So that's where I go, and I got Yamcha. So we have Bulma versus Yamcha. A little.
Ooh, that's a nice little grudge match there.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
And then I'm picking between number 1 Frieza and number 13 Emperor Pilaf. Okay, here. Take off the Frieza Force shtick hat. Because
what are you talking about? Frieza Force is life.
Because who do I want to win? I think it'd be hilarious if Emperor Pilaf beat Lord Frieza in a video game.
Absolutely.
Then who do I think would win? I'm gonna come back to this once more in an actual like video game off. So even if I said I wanted Frieza to win, in an actual game, I think Pilaf does win. I think this is the thing that he is good at.
Yeah.
this is where Emperor Pilaf shines. He's like he would be like, finally, something I'm good at.
And he also suffers from the same curse of Yamcha, where when the stakes are literally nothing, he can't be stopped.
Right. And so if you then took it to the tiebreaker, I would also, which I'm not, but I think I would still give it to Pilaf, because I think I would go down to the know-how part of it, and he's very tech savvy. So I'm moving Pilaf on to the finals of the villain slash antagonist.
That's a solid assessment. I like it. That leaves us with the other half. Number 14, Android 19 versus number 2, Cell. This is a tough one for me because actually last round I had originally picked Giro to win.
Oh.
So thinking about it now, I think in terms of who do I want to win, again, it's tough to deny Cell. Who do I think would actually win, though? See, going back to what you said earlier about how, like, when Cell throws down the challenge of the Cell games and does nothing, I think he also, the same as in that instance, he overestimates his skill.
After previously winning 2 rounds.
Yes, and defeating his creator.
Yeah.
I don't think he gives 19 a lot of respect. I don't think he thinks 19 has a chance. I think he underestimates the advantage that being mostly computer would give 19 in this instance.
Okay.
So going to the tiebreaker, as far as means, I would say they can both do it. As far as know-how, I think 19 would literally just win on know-how.
Okay.
Even though like Cell could definitely understand video games, I feel like just straight up computer is just really tough to beat.
I get you. I had Cell winning it, but I had not, when I was picking it, really thought of the notion of Cell like becoming very arrogant, right?
That's what he's known for.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, I hadn't thought of the notion of him just like not even really trying his hardest.
Yeah.
Because he's underestimating his opponents. So, I had Cell winning it, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, we have Pilaf versus 19 as our finals in the antagonist round.
That'll be the one that everyone wants to watch. Just because you've got 2 highly skilled combatants going off there. I think that'll be that would be a fun match to watch.
Yeah.
That brings us down to the deity / other bracket. Our first match being number 1 Beerus versus number 12 Elder Kai. So here's the thing. These last matches that we did, we had Beerus winning mostly just on the threat of destroying the universe. But Elder Kai doesn't live in our universe, so that threat doesn't work for him. So as far as who I want to win, I kind of want Elder Kai to win just because I want to see Beerus's reaction to losing without any, worries about him, blowing up the planet or whatever. So I kind of want Elder Kai to win. And as far as who would actually win, these 2 guys are fairly similar in background, and I would think in previous exposure to video games. So that one's kind of a toss-up. I'll say they're about even, which would bring us to the tiebreaker. And I think Beerus takes it just because he's got Whis' help. So Whis would do the setup for him and explain to him how to get all these things to work. I think Beerus wins just by the skin of his teeth.
All right, so Beerus on to the last round here. And then I've got Poir versus Jocko. And
make me proud, Poir.
So this is 14 Poir versus 15 Jocko. That's quite the seeding there. Who do I want to win? This is where I may break your heart.
Oh, no!
But I kind of think it'd be hilarious if this little spindly, nothing nobody that, like, most of the people in this tournament don't even know ends up winning. Right?
Actually, the whole the appeal of the dark horse.
Everyone is rooting for Puar. Like Bulma's rooting for Puar. Yamcha's rooting for Puar. A bunch of the eliminated, like, humans and allies are all rooting for Puar. And then Jocko wins. Then who do I think would win? And this is a really tough one.
Yeah.
It was, and even if I took, so here's, man, I think who would win? I kind of lean towards Jocko. He's
got that advanced alien technology.
Yeah, he's got
our video games are probably nothing to him.
He's got alien tech. He's out there. He's like an experienced kind of worldly person. He hangs out with Bulma a lot. Like, yeah, they're true. Really good friends. So I'm going with the insanity of Jocko. I'm moving him on.
What's really shocking is I also picked Jocko.
Beerus versus Jocko.
That is another great matchup, I think.
And then
the way this is shaken out has been fantastic to me.
And then you get to go to our Saiyan round finals.
Ah, yes, Kid Trunks at number 12 versus number 4 Gohan. I mean, let's be honest here. Kid Trunks has been an absolute powerhouse in this tournament. I don't think I can only think of maybe one or two other people that are left that could even stand up to him at this point. I don't even think I need to explain myself because it's been the same reasoning every time. It's just going to be Kid Trunks, definitely.
Yep, I had Kid Trunks winning the Saiyan bracket. So then I get to Bulma versus Yamcha. Now this is such a good matchup. This is such a great matchup. This is one that when we get to all of these matchups, I think you would have this would be like these 4 matchups. You talk about like the divisional round in the NFL where you'd have 3 matchups that everyone would be watching, and then one that everyone would be like, yeah, I mean, if I don't see that one, who cares? Because I know that Kid Trunks is just going to smoke Gohan.
Exactly. Yes.
But Bulma versus Yamcha, this is like
Bills versus Kansas City.
This is and this is like everyone's like scared of who's going to win.
Because whoever wins this one, there's a decent chance they go on to win the whole thing.
And yes, so who do I want to win? I kind of want Yamcha for the hilarious reaction you'd get out of Bulma if
absolutely.
Yamcha won.
Plus him finally getting a win over Bulma would be kind of nice.
Yeah, and I think, it'd be the way I would see it playing out is if Yamcha were to win, like Vegeta, who's just been straight up not paying attention, Bulma actually like clobbers him and it actually hurts him. Like that's the punchline, that's the joke.
She hits him so hard he ends up in a crater.
Is that like spindly little Bulma craters Vegeta? That would be awesome. But
that would be great.
Who do I think would win if these two actually went off against each other is I give the edge to Bulma.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it to the tiebreaker where I don't have to justify why I put Bulma on to the next round.
Yeah. That Briefs family, man, they're just running house on this place.
Yep.
All right. That gives me the antagonist bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got number 13, Pilaf, versus number 14, Android 19. Oh, who do I want to win? Oh, I want Pilaf to win so badly. Oh my God, I want Pilaf to win. And then as far as who would actually win, I think out of everyone else in this bracket, I think Pilaf has the best chance against 19.
I agree.
And then I also feel like Toriyama would write it where like 19 has a computer glitch, or Pilaf knows about a hack in the game to cheat.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Pilaf on this one.
I had that. All right. Now I get Beerus versus Jocko the Galactic Patrolman.
Ooh, this could go a lot of different ways.
And this is where, all right, let's start with who do I want to win? I want Jocko. Like, real bad. I think, like, having Beerus come, like, this is where you get that great reaction shot. I think there is one already of, like, there's a moment where Beerus is, like, sipping on tea or something, and something surprises him, and his eyes pop way out of his head. That would be, like, you'd get, like, a great physical reaction from Beerus for losing to this guy that, like, nobody knows.
Has, like, no power level. Nobody knows who he is.
Right.
The Dark Horse appeal is strong.
Who would win? I might give the slight edge to Beerus on who would win. I could throw that to a bit of a toss-up, though. Because I could see Beerus accidentally breaking his controller.
I think
and you know
it
what?
Comes down to...
I'm talking myself into that. I think Jocko gets a few kills in at some point in this Halo match, and Beerus gets, like, mad and, like, accidentally breaks his controller. And then
or maybe he accidentally blows up the console and gets disqualified.
And then he's just standing there, having accidentally Hakai'd his controller, and Jocko just finds all the respawn locations.
I could absolutely see something like cheesing respawn locations or something. That would be amazing.
So then I get Jocko onto the final round so we've got our two big matchups, our Kid Trunks versus Pilaf, and Bulma versus Jocko. 12 versus, what was Pilaf? 13? And 8?
Yeah.
And 8 versus 15. So we'll pick the championship together, but do I pick this one with Kid Trunks versus Pilaf, or do you?
Yeah, because I did
Okay.
Kid Trunks versus Gohan.
So, Kid Trunks versus Pilaf. Who do I want to win? Pilaf. Put that kid in his place. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And who would win? Pilaf. I think Pilaf would win. This is where Kid Trunks comes in with a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of that classic...
Maybe shows off a little bit.
That classic Vegeta arrogance. You know, like you're all beneath me. He smoked his way through the Saiyan bracket, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really put up a fight against him. If anyone, maybe Gohan. But generally, he just smoked his way through that bracket. He runs into his first real challenge here. He doesn't know how to react to it, and Pilaf gets the edge. Pilaf into the championship.
It's like Kid Trunks running into a wood chipper. I don't think he realizes what he's getting into. Like you said, he's had an easy bracket, and Pilaf has been through some absolutely devious competitors. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think he definitely takes this. That leaves me with number 8, Bulma, versus number 15, Jocko. Who do I want to win this? I want Jocko to win this. Absolutely. Just to see the look on Bulma's face would be fantastic. Who do I think would win? Again, as far as experience playing video games, I could see Jocko having more. And then when you take into account alien technology, I'll bet the kinds of video games that they play would put ours to shame. So, yeah, I think Jocko takes this without even having to go to a tiebreaker.
Well, okay. I'll let you have that. I had Bulma winning the whole thing.
Break it down for me.
I had her give the edge on who would win in this one. He's scared of her.
That's fair, but he did just face down Beerus and win.
Yeah, I think that's his championship.
I mean, it's a pretty good one, honestly.
It's kind of like when a NFL team or whatever like lucks their way into a matchup, like into a championship, and they're like, we already won our championship, like like in this past season's NFL year, like the Giants won a playoff game. They did not care that they then got smoked in the next round.
Right, I got you.
So I had Bulma. I had Jocko's just more afraid of her. You get like headsets on, and she's threatening him, and he kind of hesitates at times. She ends up being the one who would win, and then I took it to a tiebreaker where I would have Bulma with the means and the know-how.
That's fair. I think either way, I think if this was an actual episode, this would be a fantastic episode.
So I do have to. I got up to this point with very few wrong.
Really, because mine is just absolutely full of corrections.
Okay, so I'll tell you my biggest ones. I did have Vegeta going on to face Kid Trunks, and mostly I had that because once I had Vegeta win the first 2 rounds, I was like, oh my god, I want Kid Trunks to beat him in the finals so bad that I had Vegeta. It was like literally the only reason I had him beat Gohan.
That's fair.
So that was a fairly big one, as I had Vegeta going all the way to the finals of the Saiyan bracket, but losing to Kid Trunks. And then the other big one that I had was I had Cell going on to the finals of the villain bracket, but everything else I had a couple wrong, like just in the first round.
I think the closest one that I've had to being completely right was actually the deity / other bracket. The only thing that was different is I initially had Oolong winning this bracket.
And then you changed it on yourself.
Yeah, then I changed it on myself when I sat and really started thinking about it.
So we've got number 14, Emperor Pilaf versus number 15, Jocko the Galactic Patrolman. I'll tell you, I would like Pilaf to win this. I'm not sure where you are.
I would like to see Pilaf win this. I mean, this is a character who his entire shtick is just taking L's, like his entire career. I think it would be funny, and I think it would subvert our expectations, which is absolutely something Toriyama would want to go for. So I do want to give it to Pilaf.
So then who do you think would win?
Who do I think would win? I think Pilaf wins on the same grounds that he beat 19, and that he's willing to use cheese strategies and maybe do a little bit of underhanded like hacking or something, or using exploits of some kind. And Jocko
like
is a stand-up guy who wouldn't do those things.
Like back on Halo 2, I don't know if you could still do this. There might be similar things in Halo Infinite, which I just have not played. But like you used to be able to hit like BXB, which was like you basically were able to do a beatdown real quick, like faster than you could by hitting the beatdown button twice. Yeah. Or there was like BXR, which was like you were able to do a beatdown, and I think was that like take a shot faster or throw a grenade or something.
The melee strips the shields, and then if you get the last shot placed correctly, you can just do a headshot and automatically win it. So
Pilaf knows that. And now, this is where I'll tell you, just when my thought when I had Bulma versus Pilaf in this round is I had I would like Pilaf to win, but I thought Bulma would beat him because when you get into having headsets on and talking trash to each other, she would be brutal. That's true.
Yes.
And he wouldn't have been able to handle it. And then I would have taken it to the tiebreaker where I would have given the slight edge to Bulma. But we just said we wanted Pilaf to win. We think he would win. I think you could take it to a tiebreaker, and I think, again, he has means, he has know-how, so I think Pilaf he's very lucky he did not have to face Bulma.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and that's just how tournaments work out sometimes.
And that's this, like, you know, you're lucky sometimes. Just as a for instance, I think last football season, because I'm a football fan. I've mentioned that before. I think the Rams were really lucky that the Bills did not, or maybe even less pointedly, I think the Bengals might have been lucky that the Bills did not beat the Chiefs in that wild overtime game.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get a little lucky in a tournament that the I don't want to say better team, but the worst matchup for you ends up losing.
Yeah.
And so that is our second ever winner of the Final Forum Tenkaichi tournament this year, being a 1-on-1 Halo match, is Emperor Pilaf.
I am extremely satisfied with this outcome.
The joke, I think, being at this point that this was in a unpaid tournament and he wins absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Or you know what?
Nothing more perfect than that.
You know what he wins? A 6-month Xbox Live membership. That's what he wins. You know, he's thinking he's going to win jewels, or like all of these some of these characters are maybe a little confused. They think they are like actually like on these other worlds, that they're controlling like an avatar essentially.
Yeah.
And that he has just conquered the universe or something, and they're like, here's your prize, and it's a 6 months Xbox Live Gold membership.
Perfect. No notes. This is excellent. Oh, I love doing these. These are so much fun.
So that's it. Yeah, we're gonna do these every year because it's fun. It's different. Like I said, maybe we will shake up the bracket next time, but maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do something that's more like purely academic based or something.
Oh,
like a
trivia bowl or something.
Yeah. Or like a game of like a game of Wheel of Fortune or something, like a game show type of thing.
Okay, I can see that. That'd be fun.
I'm not sure. We'll give it some thought though over the next year, and we'll come up with something to where maybe we'll keep the bracket the same. Because again, when you, as I think this showed, when you change the parameters of the competition enough, you can have
wildly different outcomes. Yeah,
wildly different outcomes. Yeah, I mean, no one has Goku or Vegeta losing in the first round in anything that's like purely skill, you know?
True.
But you start adding in some skill versus brains, and
that's not quite so clear cut anymore.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, if you guys disagree with some of our outcomes, or you agree and just want to heap praise on us, let us know. We would love to debate this with people. This is just fun all around, and I think it would be more fun the more people we get involved with it. So
yeah.
Give us your feedback, folks.
The most interesting piece of this really was a lot of the things that we said for like special skills that people had, or weaknesses even from last time, don't come into play as much. Like Hit's time skip isn't as helpful. Ginyu's body swap is not useful. Pilaf lucked out in not facing really anyone that would trash talk him. Specifically, Ikki. What are they? Ecchi, right? Is what the Japanese term is for it.
Yeah.
No one that would do any ecchi trash talk to him, because he would not be able to handle that. Yeah, having like, you know, Goten wouldn't even have had to like trash talk Broly into losing his mind, like that kind of stuff. So
Who would have known? Video games, the great equalizer.
It's something. It was like a little surprised that Elder Kai kept going, but I almost thought you were going to have him beat Beerus.
Really?
Yeah, I
mean, I kind of wanted him to, but I don't know. When I got down to it, I felt like being around Whis enough was maybe enough to give him an edge.
It sounded like you were talking yourself into it, but my rationale was that was the one point, I think, in this whole tournament where the person facing Beerus would have a lot of deference to him.
That's true too. You're right about that.
I thought Elder Kai would have quite a bit of deference towards Frieza or towards Beerus. That was the other thing about this in general is I think we talked about that a lot in the basketball one last time of like, oh, Dende might not want to go his hardest against Kibito in a basketball match because what the heck? In a basketball game because of the deference towards his station. And yeah, King Yemma may or may not want to go all out against Kami because of the same sort of thing. Or Kami might be deferential to King Yemma. We had some of those kind of things. And when you get to a video game tournament, that kind of goes out the window a little bit.
Yeah, especially when like we were talking, like Kibito probably wouldn't even really care whether he got beat in video games or not.
Right. So, yeah, it's that was a fun one. And we'll pick something up again next year, and that's I think how I'll play us out here. Unless you got anything else to add.
I got nothing. I am so happy that Pilaf won. I didn't have it originally in my bracket, but now that we've talked through it, I can't see how there's a better outcome.
And in general, so far through our two tournaments, a safe bet to get very far in the tournament is a Trunks.
Yeah. Kid Trunks was actually the one that I thought might go all the way, but then as soon as he's facing Pilaf, like we were talking earlier, it's just a bad matchup for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's Kid Trunks is the one where I think he may have tried trash talking Pilaf, but he's still young and innocent enough that I think his trash talk is on Pilaf's level.
On top of that, I picture Pilaf being the type of guy who's always playing on Xbox Live and is constantly getting trash talk from like other kids who are better at it.
Like Kid Trunks would be like, "You smell," and Pilaf would be like, "You smell more." Like
yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't be like Bulma would be like, "Hey, do you want to pafu me?" And he'd be like, "Oh, stop!" like. And he'd clap his hands over his ears and drop his controller. Kid Trunks would be like, "Oh, you're stinky," and Pilaf would be like, "Oh, your butt's worse," and like that would be it.
There's also he could use Mai against Trunks.
Oh, he could, yeah.
There's always that angle.
That is the one thing,
and it would be like ironic justice too, because he'd be using the same kinds of things that Bulma's used against him multiple times against her son.
So yes, we have Kid Trunks won basketball and Pilaf won in Halo. Do you agree with all of our picks? Who will win next year's Tenkaichi tournament? Find out next time or next year and help us achieve our final forum.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kid. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.